All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another info session. I'm Val, your fellow child welfare professional, and you have Miss.
Good evening. It's Veronica.
All right. So we're here to talk to you guys a little bit. As you guys can see, we have a guest here with us, right? But before we get started, introduce him to you all. We're going to give you guys a little highlight of what we're going to be speaking about. Now, within child welfare, we all know that there are, well, not we all, but I didn't know when I first started. There are two different types of child welfare system. You've got the state one, state administered, and you've got the county administered. Majority of the states, the child welfare system are state administered. Now, there's only a few that are county administered, right?
Yeah, there's actually nine of them. Wow.
Okay, and those you only got nine. So which ones? Do you remember which one are they? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so there's California,
Right,
not to be mistaken, also Colorado.
right.
I know we have Minnesota, North Carolina, New York was one of them, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Virginia,
Okay,
and North Dakota.
North Dakota. Okay, and we have two
Are
hybrids
nine.
as well, right? Two hybrids, and those are just Nevada and Wisconsin. So today we have a special guest with us today who's going to educate us on the county administered child welfare system. We have Mr. Royce Bennett. He's the Onslow County, State of North Carolina Commissioner, and he's also running for re-election. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today, sir?
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the work that you're doing. So before we get, I mean, let's just jump right into it, sir. Tell us a little bit about the civil affair when it comes to, the relationship between child welfare agencies and, our elected county officials.
Sure. Well, in the state of North Carolina, the laws for administering child welfare are passed by the state legislature, and the counties are obligated to enforce those regulations that are made by the state. And the county, we receive funding from the state to help enforce those regulations. And then other parts of that funding comes from our county taxpayers.
What are some, because when I hear funding, I'm thinking child welfare, right? We've got a lot of, there was a recent post that came from a group where folks were speaking about, the disparity when it comes to the salary between the different states or counties. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, as an elected official, what have you done to support the child welfare system? Those folks that are, in the trenches, day in and day out.
We have a challenging child welfare system in Onslow County because we're one of the youngest counties in the state of North Carolina, and in fact in the country. Our population is younger, a lot of young families, young mothers and fathers, and statistically we have a very high rate of um, child abuse and neglect and issues like that. So it's an important issue for Onslow County and for the Onslow County commissioners. Our position or our job as a commissioner is to provide the personnel and the funding necessary to enforce or those state regulations that are passed down to us. And like I said, different positions have different funding levels, but the commissioners are in charge of basically setting the salaries. In some positions, the state pays 25% of the salary. In some positions, the state pays 50% of the salaries. In some positions, the state pays 75% of the salaries, depending on what the position is. But the fact is that it's responsibility of the county commissioners to make sure that we have enough staff to enforce those regulations as they need to be, and to make sure that we pay people enough to try to get them to work and stay here.
Right, right, right. I know even when you're saying staying here, you're referring to Onslow County, but in a
Right.
larger scale, that's an issue across, right? We want to keep qualified folks within the child welfare system. I'm happy to
Mhm.
hear that you guys realize that and you guys are actually, rewarding those great folks that are doing the work in Onslow County. Now,
In the last budget, we increased the number of social workers and the number of employees in child welfare, and we also just in the last few months we added some more positions to child welfare, and we gave our employees an 8% raise
wow.
and $1,000 bonus. So um, we certainly are trying to do the best we can to support our employees.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
great.
that's good to hear. You're not just saying it, you're actually having actions behind it, right? To show we appreciate the workforce. So how, a lot of times as child welfare professional, we're extremely busy. We're doing home visits, we're doing documentation, a lot of stuff. Sometimes it might not be top priority for us, right? To get involved in our elected officials, in the elected process. If you could tell us, tell me why it is important for me to go out and do my research and find the right candidate. Tell me why is that important?
Well, when it comes right down to it, the commissioners are where the rubber hits the road. You know, the commissioners are, like I said, responsible for making sure that we have enough personnel and that they're able to do the job that they need to do.
Mhm.
And you need state legislators. You need to pay attention to who's running for the state
Mhm.
legislative positions, because they're going to make the laws and that we have to enforce. But when it gets down to the actual enforcement, we're the place where you got to go. And we're responsible for making sure that the people are in the positions to do the job that needs to be done.
When is it's, I know you're running for re-election now. When is election day? What's the process for that registration? Tell us a little bit about what I need to do. I'm a new guy. What do I need to do to cast my vote?
Well, you need to stay in Onslow County.
Right. Right.
We won't get into that. But yeah, the state Supreme Court just delayed our primary election to May the 17th. So
Right. Okay.
you got 5 months before there's actually an election. But I would encourage you to you can go to the Board of Elections website. It's onslowcountync.gov and
Mhm.
search for the Board of Elections, and you can see who's actually filed to run. And there'll be another filing period, and it's probably sometime in February for the May primary election. But I'd encourage you to stay in touch with that. Pay attention to the news and see when the filing, especially when the filing ends,
Mhm.
and you can look and see who the actual candidates are who are running for election. And almost every one of them are going to have a Facebook page, they're going to have a website, and you can certainly get an idea from those places about what they stand for, what their priorities are, and you can decide whether it's somebody that you want to support. And I'd encourage you to research the candidates.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
funny, in my business, I find out that most people have already scoped me out. They what does my daughter call it? Facebook stalked me or something. They know all about me before they ever give me a call, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can find information about people out there, and you can choose who you want to support. And if you want to support a candidate, I mean, there are signs to put in your yard, and you can always give them money because you got to run.
Right.
It takes money to run for election, but yeah, there's opportunities out there to help support the candidates that you believe would be uh, the best for your cause.
Yeah. So now, as child welfare professionals, what I wanted to ask you, what are some, I don't want to say past achievements, some stuff that you, I mean, I agree the raise was wonderful for us. That was outstanding. Um, but what moving forward, if you were to be reelected, what are some stuff that you would want to see improve or continue within the child welfare system in Onslow County?
You know, I was at the foster children's Christmas banquet. We have a huge need for foster parents. Um, the there's always going to be probably in Onslow County more work for child welfare people than what we have, than what we can afford to hire. I
Right.
think it's always going to be a difficult, stressful job. Um, I would say that as a commissioner, I will stress keeping our employees at a market level pay rate,
Right.
because I think it's important that we don't lose too many employees to other counties just because they can make more money. So I want to keep our pay rates comparable to others. We want to keep, as our county grows. I mean, we in the last 10 years we've grown by 25,000 people or more. So when you have more people, you have more child issues, unfortunately.
Right.
We're going to have to continue to grow our child welfare staff so that they can enforce the regulations that need to be enforced.
Wow. You know, you're speaking, you're making a lot of great points, and you know, you said earlier, folks, that Facebook stalk you, and I had to raise my hand. I did do my research on you, Mr. Ben. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did do my research on you. That's why we wanted to
I know
have
a
you
little bit
here.
about you too.
That's what you get when you put yourself out there in the public. You know, you got to expect for people to check you out, and I'm good with that. I want people to check me out, and I want people to support me if they can, and if not, then I understand that too. Everybody has their own.
Yeah, no. I like the fact that you said, you know, we have to do our own research, right? You here,
Okay.
you know, to represent yourself, but at the same time, you know, you're giving us nuggets to think for ourselves, right? I'm not here to tell you to vote for me. I'm here to more educate you on why it's important to get involved, why it's important to do your research and vote for your local officials, because, like you said, that is at the level where the rubber meets the road, right? If we're not,
Mhm.
if we're not staying on top of that, then we really can't be out of position to say, well, the system is failing our families if we're not involved at all levels. Um, Veronica, is there anything that you want to share? Any questions? Because I did a lot of talking and my throat is dry, to be honest with you.
Well, no vows of talking. No, I can be too, but I'll go back to what you were saying. That was my biggest takeaway, the fact that we can really educate ourselves. But what's important about educating ourselves is because at the end of the day, our elected officials, it affects us, right?
Right.
So it affects what we do as child welfare professionals. So I think that's the big takeaway. So that's why we have to get involved in these, elected elections going on.
Yeah. So with that being said, Mr. Bennett, is there any last words that you want to share with us?
Well, I'm not a micromanager. I don't believe in micromanaging people. We have a director over there, and we have great people who are working hard every day to enforce the rules. And I know, my background, I was in law enforcement for 14 years. I've seen a lot of very sad family situations, and I feel for you guys. I understand the drama and the difficulty of the work that you have to do day in and day out. And I think I'd like you to know that you have at least one commissioner, and I believe the other commissioners all really appreciate your work and what you do. And I believe that the Board of Commissioners as a whole wants to compensate you as best that we can. Um, remembering that if you live here in Onslow County, then it's your own tax dollars that are paying your own salary. So,
Right.
you know, there's a balancing act. You know, I wish we could just pay all of you $300,000 a year, you know, but it's
That'd be
just
nice.
not feasible. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Right, right.
I was gonna say that's a lot of Christmas wishes this year.
So, yeah, I mean, we have to balance the needs of the entire county. We have 27 county departments, 1,400 and some county employees, and we have to make sure that what we do is fair for all of them.
Most definitely.
And fair to the 210, 15,000 citizens of Onslow County that are paying.
Right.
But I would want you to know that we really do appreciate your work, and we thank you for what you do, and we're going to do our best to support you any way that we can.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Well, guys, get involved, right? This is a commissioner with Onslow County. But if you are in some of the county administered child welfare system or in the state administered child welfare system, get involved. Like Mr. Bennett said, do your research. All those elected officials, exactly. All those folks that are in public figures, right? They all have a social media platform where you could do your own research to find out what it is that they support, and if they're behind the cause, and if they're aligned with your values. So with that being said, we're gonna end our info session. I'm Val, your fellow child welfare professional, and we have.
And I'm Veronica. As always, remember to subscribe and like, and give us a comment down below. Let us know what your state does. Are you county? Are you state? And let us know what you'd like to hear about next.